Hello? Can you hear me? Maybe test. Test. Yeah, so apparently I don't know what I'm doing with OBS. Surprise, surprise. But no, I was just saying that where I live, the days are cooling off and the nights are getting chilly, and um, fall is around the corner, and I love fall. Fall is a great season. But I just want to let you know that while the outside is cooling off, the inside is not. The inside of my love for Delver is heating up, and I'm working harder than ever trying to get this thing finished and get it in a good state so people can have a good experience, and I can live with myself once it's done. So today, today is well. Hey, let me just kind of reset myself real quick. So hey, I'm Joshua, and this is the Delver Weekly Dev Stream. For those of you who don't know, Delver is a procedural dungeon crawler with first-person roguelikes and RPG elements. You can find the website here behind my head. It is at delvergame.com. We are in early access, but this stream is about us getting out of early access. I've been streaming for well over a year now, which is pretty exciting. At least every Sunday for over a year, which is pretty cool. Here's a link to the Steam page. You can buy it for $7.99. When we release the full version, we will raise the price to $9.99, which just represents 5 years of work and 16 updates that are pretty substantial. So we're pretty happy with the progress we've made. But Delver is a passion project. We have worked on this in our free time for those 5 years. Chad's probably on at 6 now. Only recently I've been working on this full time, so I've been working on this as much as I can throughout the day. Let me think, what else is going on? Hey, yeah, if you like Humble, there's a Humble option too. You get a Steam key with that. I mentioned Steam twice because the Steam build is the most up-to-date build, and then once we release the full version, our other platforms will get updated to include Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and we'd like to get an iOS build out once that's all tidied up. Okay, so what's next? Let's think about, let's kind of do what the heck have you been working on? For those of you, it's going to be kind of hard. I can kind of do a multiplayer has never been part of our plan. However you want to interpret that, it is not going to be a part of Delver. Let me see. Broke my stream of consciousness. Git. Let's look at this stuff. Here we go. Clear. So I'm on the dev branch right now. Doing our updates can be a little tricky. Let me just try to do a git. So this should cover all the changes that have gone in, because we merged our branch back into develop. But let me just cover the last few changes that went into this branch. Let's do that. Okay, so yep. So I've been doing a lot of work on bombs. So we added a dud sprite, added treasure sprites. Chad has been tweaking the boss level, bake lighting. Yep. So bombs, a little bit more nuance with them. You can burn down the timer. You can, if you throw them hard enough against walls, they may explode. But it's not a very high chance of exploding, so you can still count on banking them off walls and stuff. But if you hit it hard enough against a wall, it might explode. Adding more loot drops, more cool benches and books no longer drop loot. That's good. Surprise lists, yeah. So the surprise lists will be unique per theme, but we went ahead and wired them up so we could just have surprises dropping. More tweaking the bomb like behavior. So they have a tiny bit of fuse. So basically, you could still blow yourself up, but it's making so you have just a little tiny bit of time to throw them if you are playing with fire. Monsters have a pain chance, which is pretty cool. So similar to how Doom has a pain chance, monsters have a pain chance, which helps control their stun ability. So people used to be able to stun lock creatures with the dagger, and we still want you to be able to kind of count on that, but not so strongly. And again, lots of tweaking of just stuff. So tweaking monster pain chance, swing shader, water shader. So the player falling uses the fancy dust. Menu fixes, intersection piece fixes for rooms. Water shader tweaks. Oh yeah, so there was a background, or there's an issue with our drawing our backgrounds, so that's been fixed. I've pushed out armor into its own sprite sheet, which is nice. I've been trying to make sure all the items live in their own sprite sheet. It just makes things a little bit easier to work on. Let me see. So not even a land mode. Is it hard to put in the game or what? Yeah, it probably require us to rewrite our entire engine because we wrote it ourselves for the past several years. So we didn't design upfront about that. So yeah, it would probably add on several years of development, which we just don't want to do. You can't just tack that thing on. It's a lot of effort. And it's also design too. It's not only just rewriting code, it's also designing stuff too. Because some of our designs won't work in a multiplayer scenario the way we've done them. Maybe for the next game, I'd love to do a procedural like roguelike-y dungeon crawly thing with multiplayer, but for Delver, that's not going to be it. We're focusing on making Delver the best single player experience that we can. Yep, so looks like Chad fixed the groups placing on walls. Player normally gets caught up in small stone detail blocks. That's cool. Fixing prefab rotation editor on load. Secrets, more secrets. I love that Chad he doesn't explicitly say what the secrets are because he knows I read this off on stream. Firebomb, meow. Yeah, so there's some mystery commits in by Chad, which I'm excited about. But yeah, let me play a little bit of Delver and then we'll get to work. Yeah, I also don't I need to remember to pop my changes. Let's do this. Desktop. Run. Maybe. Oh, oh, hang on. Let me do this. Let me do that, and let me go to nope. Git checkout. Develop. Get on the correct branch here. Yeah. Now let's do this. Go. Hey, Retro Bear. Thanks for popping in chat. I'm not sure if I've seen you before, at least you've not spoken up. But hey, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, this is Delver. This is the start area. This serves as the hub for the rest of the game, or for the game. So you can buy stuff here if you want. There's a guy that tells you stories. There's a guy that plays music. Right now, since I started a new game, I only have 40 gold. Which probably isn't enough to buy much, but let's take a peek. So he's going to talk to me about stuff, sure. And then I could buy an arrow. The rest of the stuff is kind of out of my price range, but that's okay. We don't need it. Let's go into the dungeon and mix things up a little bit. What's behind the door? That's a secret, and I will not tell. Because I don't want to ruin it for other folks. Yeah, so here we go. A lot of my work has been lately on bombs. So bombs are defined on a per theme basis, and they have a chance of dropping out of this breakable stuff. Wow, this is a good. Usually the breakables have a 25% chance to drop loot, and a 18.75% chance to drop a surprise, and the surprise may be right now either bombs or treasure. But I'm thinking I also want to add like unique enemies to the surprises as well. I think for the dungeons, I'm probably going to have just a small spider, and just try to, again, try not to spend too much effort on it, but have something cool, you know. So have a unique bomb and a unique creature that comes out of the surprises for each area. I think would be a nice touch. Retro Bear says, "What if you break breakables with a lucky weapon?" We don't have a concept of luck like that. It's just a flat percent chance to drop. There we go. Speed all the way. Again, Buck78, I'm not going to say. It's a secret. Thank you. Yeah, the new fire effect should be out in the Steam build already. But yeah, no, it's the explosions and stuff look nice. It was again a lot of the effort has been into like polishing and making sure our features are good, and also trying to create systems that play well together. Like the bomb system is pretty fun, and it just allows nice little allows nice little emergent things to happen. Yeah, no, the phone version is about 3 years behind. Again, as I said at the top of the stream, we plan on updating our Humble and phone builds once we get the final version out, which I'm pushing hard to get it out. I keep saying a couple weeks, I keep meaning a couple weeks, but I always find more stuff to work on. Eventually, it's just going to get to the point where we're just, you know, we have to say we're done. Smash. Because this is the next update coming out for Delver is going to be our last big update, and we'll consider ourselves final version or full release at least. We'll probably still do like support and like bug fixes and stuff like that, but we want to make this next version the last big update. Yeah, this one's it's a better mace. Yeah. Oh, jump right on the trap. Yikes. Hey, Seahawk Blue. That Bluestone says, when was the last time did I beat Delver? It has been a very long time since I have beaten Delver. Because I developed the thing, I play it in a way that just, you know, I will cheat my way to exercise stuff that we need. I think it's probably been a week or two since I've just played for a long session, and I think I died in the ruins, which is probably okay. Oh, bomb. Nice. Let me smack somebody with that bomb. Let's find a poor soul. You look nice. There we go. Speed. Okay. Ah! Okay. Yeah, those shouldn't drop. They shouldn't drop stuff either. I need to. Let me make a note of that. The wood barricade should not drop bombs. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wood. Cool. Note made. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of how I wanted the surprise system to work. Is they kind of serve as traps, but with the bombs. If you're fast enough, you can scoop up bombs and use them again. So if you're not paying attention, or if somebody else breaks it, it'll be tricky. And sometimes the bombs come out of the box unlit too, so it's not always super unfair. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. For those of you who haven't played in a while either, this update too, we're adding the ability to throw everything. So with the Q key, you can charge up and throw anything. So it's useful. Yeah. Oh! Again, if you hit something hard enough with a bomb, there's a chance the bomb will automatically explode. Cool, thank you. Yeah. Again, we try to sit in a nice place where it's pretty lightweight, and we try to use the procedural generation to create cool and interesting experiences. And I think the more like with these bomb systems and stuff, I'm trying to create more stuff to kind of put in the mix for you to worry about and try to have cool and surprising things happen. Hey, Schvender.exe. So I'm working on arrow bombs. So let me let's go here and let me pop my changes off the stash. There we go. Cool. What's fancy? Hey, Bird. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Okay, let's do this. And just make ourselves a quick little level. I'm going to place in an arrow bomb. And these are still a work in progress. Bear that in mind. Actually, since some of you folks may be new or haven't played in a while, let me also add in the firebomb and just the vanilla bomb so we can see what we're talking about with these surprises. Yeah, so the vanilla bomb is what you'd expect. You can left click to light the fuse and hold it, and then you can throw it and it'll explode. There's also a chance that it's a dud and it won't explode. It'll emit a little puff. The firebomb is similar. But when it explodes, it shoots out a bunch of fire that burns stuff in an area, which is cool. And I'm working on the arrow bombs, which aren't quite there yet, but you throw them out there and they shoot arrows. I'm going to have them shoot in 8 directions, so it should send out quite a few arrows. Which right now it works okay-ish. I just have 2, and they just kind of pop out at. Yeah. But the thing I like about this too is not only it makes it a cool trap, it's a pretty long distance trap, but also it allows you to recover the arrows and use them as well. Yeah, it's a bomb. It's a what do I call it? It's an arrow bomb, not a bomb arrow. Yeah. So yeah, something like this. Oh, and see that was a dud, so it just puffed. Now the tricky thing is you can try to relight a dud, but they have a way shorter fuse. You just have to keep that in mind, and you should be able to, yeah, like this. So this will set off that bomb. So again, trying to have nice chain, like chain reactions going on here. Cool. No multiplayer at any point. We wrote this engine ourselves, and that's something you have to account for when you undertake that much work. And again, this project we never started this project expecting it to go anywhere or to be anything. We just got really fortunate that we have an awesome community that has supported us and ended up liking the game. It's one thing like when you build something up front to be a product. Oh. Nice. Well, I still did kind of what I was wanting to do. Yeah, nice. And it's one thing to have a hobby project become a product. Hey, Bubby304, thanks for popping in the dev stream. Oh yeah, hey Seahawk Blue, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you know, like we want you to hate the wizards. We want the wizards to be something you have to worry about. But yeah, I think even this latest update we've even dropped their health a little bit more, so they're pretty much like glass cannons. So as long as you get the drop on them, you can probably kill them pretty quick. And also, my favorite way to deal with them is just to throw my weapon at them nowadays. because you can throw everything. Let me preview that for folks who might not know. Play. Yeah, so you can now hold down Q to throw your weapon, and it will actually do a damage roll, which is pretty darn useful. So even if you're playing a melee character, you can still use that to pretty good effect. So like here, like if you hurt them just right, they'll run away, and when they start to run, I typically just throw my dagger after them to finish them off. Please try to find somebody. Specifically, I'm looking for mage. Oh. Usually as long as you hit them, they'll die, which is nice. Oh, I need to throw it harder than that. Let's not blow myself up. Let's blow them up. Here we go, speed. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, that didn't do enough damage. But yeah, you can, by holding down Q, you can charge, you can wind up and throw everything. If I see the monk coming, I can usually time my attacks to correctly deflect her. But yeah, if she gets a drop on me, she's gonna hit me. When is the next update gonna be out? I'm working hard to get it out. I keep saying a couple weeks. I keep meaning a couple weeks, but like, this is the last big update. So there's a lot of things that we wanted to do that we need to get done, or not do, right? And that's what we're coming to grips with. So I'm trying to finish up this surprise system. Chad is working on finishing up or improving the level up system, and I think those are the last big things we have. Ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 da. Let me see. So, arrow bombs are what we're working on, and I'm thinking, right now, like, because basically how fused bombs work is a fused bomb has a, like, normally it has a countdown timer. It does an explosion, but you can have it optionally create. You can have it spawn things when it explodes. So, for example, the firebomb just explodes a bunch of fire entities attached to particles to make them fall, and then similarly, the arrow bomb spawns a group of arrows that are kind of arrayed out in a pattern. But right now, the arrows are kind of unwieldy. There's a lot that goes into an arrow to make it look like an arrow, and I'm trying to decide. Should I rewrite or should I refactor the arrow class to make it a little bit easier to use in the editor, or should I just suck it up and just manually do it? Yeah, we're trying to take a little bit more time, but not too much more time, and we're also we want to get it done, so that's why we're taking a hard look at the stuff that we haven't done, and we're saying some of the stuff just isn't going to happen, and maybe it's like a next project sort of thing, you know. And it's, you know, you have to like learn to live with that. So here I want to flip these. I'm going to try to make this a 4-directional. Actually, let me refactor the arrow class. Yeah, so I've been working on the project about 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and Chad has been working on it about 5 or 6. So we need to get this thing done. And cutting features is shipping the game. That's how at any software or at any software company, the cutting is shipping. Okay. So let me right now, let me just, I have a, let me undo these. Let me just think about how, let's look, I have just a vanilla arrow hanging out in here. Just for testing. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Let's get rid of the acceleration or the velocity. And let me add one and then pull it back out of JSON and see what things it thinks it needs. Delve edit run. Yeah, so so in the past I've worked for I guess the big companies I worked for are Lexmark and Microsoft as a software engineer. And you always want to fit more features into a product than like, so you have a big unlimited list of features, and if you ever want to ship anything, you basically have to prune back the features, which is called cutting. So cutting means you look at a feature and say, nope, not going to happen. So that's where we're at, as we're looking at our features, and we're either committing to doing them or we are saying we're never going to do them. Which is hard. It's just really hard to do, because like this is a passion project, and this represents a significant chunk of my life. To JSON. See what this looks like. That's not so bad. So maybe I can push some of these into just the defaults. So again, the arrow definition is smaller. So let's do that. Let's look at missile. I've already made some changes to missile just to make make it so that the arrows could actually hurt the player. And what else? Let me think. So I needed to add scale of 2. So if I redefine it, I wonder if it cares or not. So something like, because I think there should be a scale. Particle scales. There's no this dot scale? We have instance of drawable beam. It's a drawable beam. Maybe the bow sets it, but yeah, let's do entity scale. Yeah, float scale 1F. Let me just, again, by setting these as defaults on the object, hopefully makes the JSON simpler, so you don't have to define as much. Public Boolean floating equals true. That should also be an entity property. Floating. I won't. I wonder if this is going to make issues with how the yeah. Hopefully there's no issues with the Let's just see how this works. So Bird is bringing up good topics, yeah. So, and for us, we're a team of 2 that primarily work on this in our free time. So we have to be really aggressive about how we or we have to be really tactical on how we choose or what the things we choose to work on. Let me see. With core mods, is there a possibility to ship that on Steam or not? What do you mean core mods? I'm not sure what you mean. Yikes. Okay, so scale is 2. What else do I need to set? Scale 2, floating true. Slide effect timer. I don't even know what that is. Control F, slide. Effect timer, Control B. What is this even used for? What's on entity? Where does this get set? Maybe I can leave that at 0? I don't know why it defaults to 2. That seems like a weird thing. No, Bird, we do not plan on adding anything beyond the scope of the JSON files. Namely because let me think about how to say this tactfully. Like, if we allow people to patch in Java, we lose control of like that introduces attack vectors that we don't want to be held responsible for. So, for example, if we mess up and we damage your computer, that's on us, right? If we write something bad, that's for us to fix, and that's us for to make right. But as soon as you start having people introduce code that we don't know what it does, we don't want to take responsibility for that. And also too, like we've even had a situation in the past where a modder made a graphics pack, and he was charging as much money for his graphics packs as it was to buy Delver, and he's still selling it, and it's way broken. So people will spend like another $8 on the graphics pack, and it doesn't work, and they write us saying, "Hey, I spent $8 on this mod for your game, and it doesn't work," and I have to say it's out of my hands, right? It's up to them to make it right. But I just don't want to put my players in a bad spot. Yeah, hopefully Sphax has updated it. I'm not sure what I haven't checked on that status in a while, but I have stopped getting emails from people about that. So hopefully it's been updated or fixed. I mean, I don't mind people patching it and stuff, but I don't want to. We don't support it in an official way. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool. So, yeah. So setting slide effects. Yeah, I probably don't need that. Let's just. So let's look at our entities.dat on our arrow, and there's a slide effect timer. Let's pull that away. Make sure that that's okay. Scale 2. Let's just have that default to that. Cool, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, like again, we're just trying to protect our players, you know. Not that I would think our community would do anything like that, but I just don't want that to be even a possibility. Okay. What other properties were being set there? Name, tname. We don't need the tname. That's kind of weird. So these are just stuff I stole out of. I just kind of ham-handedly put a breakpoint in the editor, and I just stole all the properties off the object, and then I'm using that to create an instance of it in the editor. So I'm trying to clean that up to make it easy to put arrows into the editor, because I'd like to also spawn in arrows stuck into the walls using the wall decorator, just to help make arrows a little less rare, but also to do a little bit of storytelling. I think that could be a cool thing. Knockback. What is the default knockback on the missile? Control N. Knockback. There better be a. Oh, Control F. Knockback. This dot knockback is 0. I guess that's fine. Yeah, no, like art styles are totally legit. Like I know there was a pretty big I guess there was a pretty vocal minority that spoke out when I came on the project and replaced all the original Oryx art. And that's fine. People have different preferences for different things. Again, the pixel art style was chosen because one, I love it, but also I can work relatively fast in it. And working, you know, like an hour here, an hour there in the evenings for 4 years, you have to be able to be like time efficient, and that was a good way to do that. Also, it makes our binary our distributable pretty small. So for our Android build, like size isn't like the art doesn't create considerable size requirements. Did I close that out? Dang it. Okay, let me stop, rerun it, and take a look at our arrow and make sure that it's looking all right. Yeah, no, like I agree, Bird. Like if you know, during the weekday I work on a Twitch playable roguelike, and it is a roguelike where there are no graphics. It's all ASCII, and I do appreciate like well designed games. But for Delver, like I think the production values certainly helps. Like okay, something went wrong there. Let me see what all did I change here? T-name, scale, slide effect timer, acceleration, stuck, true. But yeah, no. I think the extra production values do help Delver stand out a little bit. No, that's the standard arrow texture. It's been in there since when did I do the arrow update? Was that maybe last September? Something like that. Before that update, the the arrow, the bow and arrow stuff in Delver was bad. So that was my attempt to fix it and make it better. Yeah, something's wrong with the scale there. I goofed something. Cancel. Let's save that, and then it's here missile. Let's undo some of these missile changes. Save. Stop. Maybe it's the hot loading. I don't know. Yeah, here are the. Yep. Because the acceleration is back on, so it immediately speeds into the wall. Let's try going back to here. Let's split this so I don't have to keep. So I can just keep these kind of both up. So for our arrow, no acceleration. I want to keep. So floating is true. Stuck is true. Let's see what that looks like. So I think what the issue is arrows are kind of a tricky thing, because arrows are technically an item, which is a sprite, but we're overriding how it's drawn. So if you notice, this is not a sprite. This is it's what we call a drawable beam. So it's an intersection of two planes that creates a 3D volume-ish. There we go. It seems right. Because yeah, if I were to pick it up and then I were to throw it, you notice now it's back to being a sprite. It's kind of hacky how we handle that. So that's why there's some oddness with how things work there. Oh, hey, Michael. How was your conference? Were you demoing your game? Okay, let me put these back in one at a time. Scale is 2. No, I think it has to do with it changes to a sprite when it goes into your inventory, if I remember correctly. But I may not be. So yeah, something's wrong with the scale here. Wait, get rid of that. Let's get out of there. Don't need that. 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 Drawable beam. So set the drawable direction. New drawable beam, instance of, yeah, Okay, so it doesn't like that property being set. Let me debug it. Yeah, no, I start, I tend to stream around lunchtime, typically because that tends to be easy for me to remember, one, but also it is a decent time, I think, for like for the US and the Europe audiences, because they're at like noon and like in the evening time respectively. So that tends to work out well. I do feel bad for the folks who do watch from like Asia and Australia, because it is way like inconvenient. So that seems all right. Let me make sure that I haven't goofed up the actual bow. Let's grab a short bow. Let's grab that and let's shoot this into the wall. Make sure everything looks hunky-dory. That's not good. Okay. Ranged one arrow. Yep. Okay. Is it just with that one? That'd still be kind of a no-go. Ranged. One short bow. Yeah. Yeah, let me also take care of Bluestone. Yeah. So what's happening is before we missiles can't hit the player, and I'm changing that. Ignore. Player. Okay, so yeah, let me just go restore some of this stuff. So let's do, because I want the traps to be able to hurt the player. And this was just me kind of working through that. What ended up happening, so ignore player collision, ignore player collision. So what ended up happening I couldn't hurt the player, not because of this flag, but because I needed to implement a there's a specific on hit that's called for the player. Yeah, and RoboJester astutely noted that it was only happening with the ones that were being manually placed into the level. The ones that get spawned in had the flag set correctly. So let's do this entity. Entity surprises arrow. Let's pull this up, and then if I were to say spawn in my short bow, and then grab the arrow, yeah, it still hits me. Let me just make sure that the bow also sets that value when you shoot it. So let's go to bow, and let's look at do attack. We got this missile, get ammo, missile. Yeah, let's just do a missile dot ignore player collision equals true. Because when you're shooting the bow, your arrow out of the bow, we want it to ignore player collision, which I think is safe to set, and that should fix that issue. Because we want arrows that come out of a bomb to hurt the player, but once you pick that up, we don't want it to hurt you unless it reflects off of a wall, and then in which case it's it's on you. So place entity surprises arrow. Place entity lights ambient 8. Cool. Put that over there. Raise that up. Cool. Grab that. Ranged 1 short bow. There we go. It's still hitting me. There should be ignore player collision. Let me take a look at missile. Ignore. Where is ignore player collision actually being honored? Player collision. It's set there, set there, set there. It's being checked here and can hit, and then set there. So where is can hit being used? Can hit. Let's find usages. It's used here in this. Oh, so we're getting this line that collides with entities. Let me make sure that we're actually going through this logic when we are in this scenario. So let me spawn in my bow, and then that, and then that. Okay, and then see right here. To me, it looks like we've already hit the player, which is interesting. Yeah, let me up here, check entity. Let's also look at this. There's also a there's this encroached here. Maybe I need to check that there as well. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, ranged 1 short bow. And that, and then run forward and fire. Okay, so you can see the arrow spawns like pretty darn close. Yeah, so it actually, it does this check first because we've encroached with the player, and the speed is substantial enough to hurt the player. So call the entity version of this because this is okay. So that seems fine. That seems fine. Dynamic. Yeah, there's no usage of can hit. Can hit. Because we've already encroached. Interesting. So I think we need to look at maybe somewhere in here, maybe in encroached. This encroached. We need to do a can hit check here, and then maybe shortcut if we can't. Okay, so let's try that. Hey, Victor. I'm doing well, man. Thanks for popping in. Okay, so let's do this. So let's do in our encroached. Now we just need to do a if this.can hit. Checking I think is this, and hit I think is the entity. Yep. So if not, return. Okay, let's try that out. No, Victor, I've not had a chance to play your jam game. I apologize. How about remind me closer to 2 o'clock, and maybe I'll play it at the end of the stream. Entity, surprises, arrow. There we go. Cool. Yeah. No, I am excited to play it. And I'm sure my viewers would probably be interested in dungeon crawl stuff. So I think you're in good company, Victor. Ranged 1 short bow. Deck. Okay. Yep, so we're encroaching the player. Yep, do encroached. And then can hit. Yeah, so right now we can't hit, so that's cool. There we go. So that should fix that. I thought I took out those breakpoints. Ugh. Ranged one short bow. Oh, it's breaking because yeah, because there's the yeah. I'm just gonna put the can hit check here. Then it's still probably okay to have it down in this one. I'll remove it for the time being because I'm only putting it in for player. The other stuff works just fine. I think I can do Control Shift F9. Yeah, and just monkey patch it. Okay, ranged one short bow. Yeah, that seems to work all right. And that's all right. Cool. Yeah, now if I right click and say to JSON, what does it look like? How complicated is this? Yeah, so the effect lifetime, is it not default to 0? Effect lifetime. It starts at 200, interesting. So we'll do a reset state. So maybe we shouldn't start that off with a 200 value. Maybe we should do something where, does the bow set that? Maybe the bow should. Because the effect really only applies to enchanted stuff. So if we have enchanted stuff, say missile dot effect lifetime equals 200, and then for missile up here, I can have it default to 100 or 0. Cool. Again, I should probably test enchanted bows just to make sure that works. I hit play and K. Can I give myself a random piece of... No, I can't. Dang it. That should be all right. I just want to make sure. Oh man. I think I can just throw myself out at, yeah, the uniques. I really wish I could just throw myself out a piece of ranged. Yeah, I can't get myself. I'd have to go manually wire it up. But let me make sure. Again, I'm trying to simplify the amount of JSON needed to create a correct arrow. Is my current task, because the easier it is to create arrows, the more likely that I'm to actually create the darn things. So right click to JSON. Then leave trail should probably default to false and not true. Leave trail. Yeah. So back in bow, again, this is something that should be turned on. Yeah, leave trail true. So here in missile, leave trail should just be false. Again, this is just a little magical trail if you have an enchanted bow. And it really should, the defaults for the missile really should be the just the vanilla arrow. And then when we want fancy stuff, we need to turn all that stuff on. Surprises arrow. Marker torch. Yep. So it's not doing anything crazy. Yeah. I guess the other question is when I right click and say to JSON, what does that look like? Yeah, that's looking better. I don't know if I need the T name though. Ignore player collision. That's also probably okay because that's, well, let me, not for a vanilla arrow, maybe we need to have that like this. So for our vanilla arrow, we don't need the T name, and that should get set just by the entity base class. And what else? I just said it and I can't think of it now. I can just let that be defaulted. Shake timer. Yeah. Let the shake timer also be default. Effect lifetime 0. Leave that at default. That's cool. Progress. The slide effect timer. Did I ever figure out what that was? Slide effect timer. Let's just make that. Just leave that at defaults. Slides with ignore player collision. That should be just. We'll just leave that again. Let that be true. That's okay. So I can manually set that for the arrow trap specifically. Again, I'm just trying to have really good defaults so the arrow object is easy for modders to create and put into their maps. Because what I want to use it for, I'll show you here in a second, is yeah, so that looks all right. Not distorted or shaped weird. Oh, there we go. Play. There we go. But yeah, what I think would be cool is to be able to like just make little vignettes like this. So we can kind of have like, and then have the wall decorator kind of put these at random. So like, I think it makes the dungeon feel more alive just to have this kind of stuff hanging out. And also it would make it easier for archer players that occasionally if there are arrows stuck in the walls, you can reuse them. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that go. Yeah, let me take a look at my, again, generator, no surprises, arrow. Bring that up to JSON. Take a look at this. Getting smaller. Better, better, better. Name arrow. Floating true. If I turn off floating, I think so I get some weird behavior. Let me take a peek at that. I think it falls, or oh, because it's still stuck. True. Pardon me. Sorry if I didn't mean to blow your ears out there, folks. Text scale, floating name, stuck. T direction. Yeah. Looking simpler, less scary. Also, I think what I want to do is typically like what I'm doing is I'm actually in the JSON defining a a velocity vector, and it might be nice just because how the arrow works is its orientation is based off of its velocity, which makes sense because arrows they usually face the direction that they're moving. So I think maybe I'll make that easier and just have like an initial velocity kind of thing, and then we could figure out the direction just given the rotation and the initial velocity should be able to help us calculate our direction vector. Maybe that might be easier for folks to use because it'd be nice just to be able to set a speed and then just let it go. So let's check that. And I don't need quat anymore. I was playing around with quaternions, but that I need to do more homework on that one. Because yeah, so basically what it is I also enabled the ability to rotate the arrows in the editor. So what happened is because they're of type item, item is by default a sprite, and sprites you can't rotate because they always face the camera. So what I did is I made an interface called directional, because really most of our checks were looking for a directional entity. So I looked at directional and extracted the classes that I thought were core to that interface. And then directional entity now implements directional. And then now the missile can implement directional, and we could still use that interface to work with it in the editor, which is a nice little solution. Yay, interfaces in Java. Okay, so I'm still kind of curious why the whole scale thing is strange. Scale. So I don't set my scale, but I set the drawable beam.scale. And then does bow set this scale? Yeah, the bow sets the missile scale to 2. So if I set my sorry, that's over here. So yeah. So I think I need to, the scale here for the drawable beam is also 2. Maybe that's why I'm getting some weird behavior. Let's take a look. Because when we set the direction, that's when we actually flip it over to a drawable beam. I'd like to have drawable just be a drawable beam off the bat. So let's try this. Let's try public float scale equals 2. Up here, this is a one-liner constructor. I'm just gonna move it down here with all the other constructors, just so it was a little bit easier to parse what's going on here in the class. And then let me add line breaks again, just trying to make this readable. So I think this is the default one that gets called the serializer. Just the serializer we use expects the usage of a no argument constructor. Yeah, I'm curious because this looks like this is using the string manager. Very curious how this all kind of interleaves. It looks like this one calls this. So this is never used. It says this one's never used. So this dot drawable equals new drawable beam. I'm just going to lift this code down here. Text owner type. Text R type rot. This dot drawable dot scale equals this. This dot scale. Okay. And then up here, our scale is set to 2. Debug and see how bad I've broken things. Yeah, so we still get that weird, like it's drawing weird. Like it's not. So let me try. So let me do this. Let me comment that out. Let me comment this out. Let me comment this out. Let me make sure that it looks correct, and then let me kind of try to debug and steps, or take a look and see how what everything is looking like when it gets serialized into the editor. Yeah, so this looks correct. I don't think we call the do we call the constructor again, or we don't, since we already have an instance in the level. I don't think we do. We just put breakpoints in all these, and then when I hit play, yeah, okay, looks like we do hit. Yeah. So there we go. So, yep, doing all this goodness step. Okay, so this dot. Let's take a look at this dot drawable. Bowl is null. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So, but it's still being rendered as a drawable beam, it looks like. Why is the constructor getting called so many times? So if I have this, let's monkey patch that in, and then let's see how that looks. Yep. Looks like these get invoked every time I right click. Interesting. Entities, surprises, arrow. That looks okay. So if I set the scale on that, is that what goofs it up? 2F. There we go. That doesn't seem to have changed a darn thing. I'm really bewildered why setting this. So I set the scale here to 1. Oh. 2. 3. So it's looking so to me it looks like it's not honoring the actual yeah, so let's do that. So all this junk. So scale is 2F. Scale. Oh, I shouldn't have stopped. I could have just patched that in. Oh well. Oh well. Let's keep working. Yeah, sorry. Today is going to be a very programming heavy Delver stream, just because I want the arrows to work nicely, so I can use them for other things. Yeah. So the scale is definitely not getting set correctly for this thing. Bizarro. Is it being overridden somewhere? Is my guess, because here it looks like um, scale. No, I think I'm just really kind of perplexed why I would be doing that. So let me try. I'm worried that this is like shadowing the actual item dot scale. So maybe just try setting it manually here. Let's patch that. And, oh, nope. I changed the signature of the yeah. Change the signature of the class, so I can't monkey patch or hot swap or hot reload or whatever you want to call it. Surprises arrow. Light. And okay, that looks right. And if I were to right click it to JSON, what do I get? Yay! So the scale is no longer needed. One question says, where would you go if you were searching for a 2D artist as a dev and you wanted to do it as a hobby and unpaid? So if I wanted to do that's a really hard question, right? Because I believe that you should pay people for their work. But I think if you want to attract somebody to work on your project, I think what you need to do is you need to work on the project, have a good prototype, and just talk about it. And eventually, if somebody wants to work on it, they'll join you. And you know there are a number of forums and Twitter and other good places to do that. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got started on. That's how I got started on Delver. Is I saw the post on the TIG source forums, and I began to replace the assets myself, and I shared it with Chad, and he really liked them. And when he put the Android version out, he made enough money to hire me on his contract, and then eventually we became partners once we got greenlit. And then Victor says, incidentally, the same topic, but other side of that, how do you price your services if you want to be paid? Yeah, pricing is hard, man. So, like, you have to look at it like you have to just make a big list of cost, right? You have to look at how much does rent cost, how much do utilities cost, how much does food cost, how much does healthcare cost, how much does like everything you need to live your life. You need to figure out what that number is, and then you need to figure out like how many hours a week you want to work. And then you just you divide that out, and then that's how you find your hourly rate. I know what mine is, and that's again, my hourly rate is not going to make me rich, but it should help me get. It's what I need to do to get by, and then save a little, so when I retire, I'm not broke. Yeah, it's a weird bit of math because it requires you it's like lifestyle dependent. It is geographic dependent. Like I have a wife and a child, and I don't know if I've told folks this yet, but I have another child on the way. We're going to have a second boy, and I'm really pumped about that. I guess I need to maybe lead off with that on one of my streams because we're pretty deep in the stream now. But yeah, we're going to have another kiddo, and I couldn't be happier. To JSON. Is T direction needed? Yeah, I didn't tell you, Victor. Yeah. So, yeah, in February we're expecting another baby boy. Thank you guys. Thank you for the support. Back to Crytex. You already have a prototype. The problem is I don't know if the game will be good enough to cost something at the end. Yeah, thank you. Again, yeah, I would just put yourself out there and like yeah, unfortunately you have to wait for somebody to find you because like I mean, again, like I think that the TIG source forums does have a place for unpaid work. Um but yeah, like you have to be respectful of people's time, you know. I mean, occasionally too. At least when I was younger and had more free time, I would search the TIG forums for projects that I thought were cool, but maybe need a little bit of art help, and I would throw them art on occasion. And one guy paid me one of my subscribers now, but back then he paid me $25 in Bitcoin, which is now worth like several hundred, which is pretty funny. Um, let me see. What am I? What else? Okay, so I think we're getting the JSON down to like the brass tacks, right? So floating true. So drawable null. Uh, is that? Do we want drawable to be null? So we set that manually. So if I get rid of that out of here, is that okay? Drawable. Collides with scale. Save. Go. And also too, like you can also spend probably less money on just like licensing existing assets. Certainly, when Chad first started Delver, he licensed the Oryx sprites, which helped him get going. And then it was. I mean, they weren't great looking, but they were enough that when I found it and played it, I saw there was something more to the game. Oh man, what did I break? Hmm. Yeah. So we do need that drawable property. Uh, or if I set it to null, see what that looks like. Yeah, again, I would just remember Crytek's like you have to sell people on the strength of the project as it is, and not like as it might be someday. That's something I think you need to be realistic about. Drawable null one. And my name is Joshua. Yeah. Doesn't like that. Let me put all that stuff back in. This might need to get pushed into here. Let's see. If I run it, and I create one entity surprises arrow. That looks fine. I right click and say to JSON. Then I copy this, and then I go into here. Let's just put it after this arrow. Let's just call it A1 because the name doesn't really matter. And let's run it again. Let's see how A1 actually looks, because in theory it should be exactly the same. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Does it? Or am I going crazy? Right click, entity, surprises, arrow. I would say they look awfully similar. Right. I think they are. Okay, cool. So then let me get rid of this really big arrow definition, and then just make this one the new arrow definition. Arrow. There we go, and run. And place entity surprises arrow. I think that looks okay. Maybe. No, now it's all goofed. Now it's why are you goofed? Okay. Okay, so let me try setting the properties on this drawable in the here. So this drawable direction set 1f 0f 0f. Okay. This drawable archetype equals is this probably an enumeration. Enumeration archetype archetype.item. Okay. This scale equals 2. This draw or this wait no this drawable, there we go. So this drawable draw offset dot set 0 0 minus 0.45. Okay. Scale is 2 and size is 2. This drawable size equals 2. It doesn't like the size property. Does drawable not have a control B? This drawable beams have a size, maybe? They do. Okay. This drawable equals new drawable beam. Control B. Control B. How about let's do this? Let's say drawable beam beam equals that. And then here we set beam equal to all this, and then this drawable equals beam. And then beam might be not a great name, but whatevs. Oh, thank you for the host, Tim. Yeah, I appreciate that. So beam cross offset is equal to 0.016. Just trying to make sure these are all set correctly. Beam.center offset equals 0. Oh yeah, the beam.y offset is equal to minus 0.45. Okay. So again, let's step over this. So for our beam, we have the direction as along the x-axis, which is correct. The archetype is of type item. The scale is 2. The draw offset is on the z of minus 0.45. The y offset is minus 0.45. The scale is the scale should be 2. So let's get rid of this. Size is 2. The beam cross offset is 0.016, and I think that should be okay. We'll see. So again, let's let's cut this. Save it, and then let's launch our editor and make sure that these properties are correct. Place entity surprises A1. That looks right-ish. No, it's not drawing as a beam. It's drawing as a sprite. Yeah. Hmm. This is the place where we set it. Do I need an init method? Is that a better place for this to live? Cool. Yeah, I got that correct. Yeah, okay. Let's see if that gets hit. I probably can't monkey patch because I changed the signature of the class. Cool. Entity surprises A1. And it looks like the init did not get called. Okay, so the init's getting called here. Hmm. Trying to think what's going on here. I already copied this and put it in the init. So I want it to look correct in the editor. Yeah, something's not quite right with the drawable. Okay, well, I'm not gonna spin my wheels too much on that. Let's just undo that, undo that. I'm just really curious why. Yeah, because it's giving back bad. JSON, which is not totally acceptable. Hey, Dr. Kegel. Good to see you, man. How are things? And also, I guess, Dr. Kegel, I was thinking about it, and I actually ended up I updated the little Python random weighted thing from a list. I was thinking about it, and I really liked your solution with bisect. It was my solution was okay, but the weight didn't support floats, like you pointed out, and also it was the weights actually affected memory consumption, which is kind of not great. So I updated my gist to use your bisect stuff. And I think it's a good balance of easy to read Python and better weighting. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that this weekend. So thanks for spurring me to think about that, and I will probably implement it tomorrow at in my lunch break roguelike. Yeah, no, it was definitely like I do try to listen to what folks say, and sometimes it takes me like sometimes I have to, it takes me a while to process and then get back to you. But yeah, no, it was a good suggestion. Um, oh, why is this not doing what I think it's doing? Yeah, so init is not the place to do it. Again, let me see if I can step through this and see where this is actually getting set. Okay, this drawable beam stuff should be correct, and it should. So this this not drawable is a drawable beam, which all that stuff looks correct. This is in our looks like our serialization stuff maybe. Oh Joshua. Okay, so this is happening where? More serialization stuff. Okay, so this is in the mod manager, that makes sense. So the mod manager, this mod manager has a bunch of entities. We should have our surprises. Surprises should have a bunch of junk, keys, items. A1 value. Oh, come on. Where are the actual keys? Not keys. Entries. Entries. Value table. Missile. Drawable equals null. Okay. What about the other missile? This dot. Drawable equals drawable beam. That should be okay. Let me give them different names so I can kind of better tell what's going on. I have two instances running. That's not great. Arrow. Name is arrow. This is arrow test. Let me take that out of there. Maybe put it in these. These should not get called, but maybe the serializer is doing some weird stuff. I don't think it is. Look to our call stack. Let's step. Okay, and then let's get this mod manager again. Entities, surprises, surprises, value. There should be a value table. In the value table, there should be a couple missiles. So what's the name of this one? This is arrow test, and its drawable is null because it's specifically set to null. If I pull that out, does it work correctly then? 9. Right click, entity, surprises, A1. Yeah, it does because I'm a dummy. There we go. Nice. Cool. Cool. So Close that. Let's just close everything but the missile. Nice, 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 nice. So then I think I can get rid of, again, let's try getting rid of this. And this is arrow. And this is called arrow. And then now let's run it, make sure that I can create one, and then I can get the JSON, I can paste the JSON back in and get the same thing back. Like round trip it is what that's called. Arrow. That looks correct. Yeah, looks fine. And then if I right click and say to JSON, nice. We have some pretty light JSON. What else? The T direction, that's used by the drawable beam. What's the default T direction? Can I not? Oh yeah, here we go. T underscore direction. Control B. Yeah, let me pull this up here to the top too, just so it's a little bit easier to find all this junk. T direction is equal to 1, 0, 0. Just init it like that, so we don't have to worry. So the so the JSON shouldn't need it. Actually, let me pull this out of the JSON and run it. Base entity, surprises, arrow. Okay, there we go. So far, so good. Hit play. It doesn't do anything crazy. Yeah, and if I to JSON it, what does it look like? Yeah, short and sweet. It's still saying drawable is null. Am I overwriting that here somewhere? Drawable. So if I put drawable null here, I think I get issues. I think then it starts displaying as a sprite. And I think I broke my JSON. I think null doesn't need to be quoted. Yeah, then it's an arrow again. So how to fix that? Entrance item, drawable. I have to drawable update this. Drawable equals null. Is that what it wants? So if I place my arrow, surprises arrow. not good. Right, let me pull it out of this JSON here. So I don't want to actually be null, because I think what the serializer does is I think the serializer calls the no arguments constructor and then sets all the properties in the JSON on that object. I think. Dang it. But if I get rid of this, this should display correctly, but if you 2JSON it, then it breaks. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why? If we right click, entity, surprises, arrow, that's correct. And if I 2JSON it, it says the drawable is null. That's not quite correct. Hey, Gia2203. Yeah, this is the weekly Sunday Delver stream, and I'm working on, I guess to update folks, I'm working on creating an arrow bomb. So the new update for Delver is going to include bombs as a trap, but also as a resource that you can potentially exploit. And we have a couple of varieties of bombs. We have just a vanilla bomb. We have a fire bomb. And we have, what I'm working on today is the arrow bomb. And I'm trying to clean up arrows so that they're more usable by modders. Yep, so the fire bomb, or the regular bomb, you can light it, hold it back, and you can throw it, and it'll explode. The fire bomb will do something similar, but instead of, in addition to exploding, it also creates a nice fire, which is fun to deal with, especially if that's a trap. And then the arrow bomb will create a series of arrows. That just shoot out. Right now, it only does it in 2 directions because creating the arrows is not easy. It's hard. So I'm trying to fix that. There we go. So I think what I can do is something like, how about an at editor property. This can be a public float initial speed equals 0. And then in here, I can say something like, let me see how to do. I guess I have that work vector. So let's say dir work dot set to our this dot get direction. So this should be this get direction basically takes our rotation vector, which are expressed as Euler angles, and returns back a vector that is a directional vector and not an Euler angle vector. So we're going to set that to the direction of our Euler angles. I guess we're going to normalize it, and we are going to do scalar multiplication by this dot initial speed. And then this dot xa equals this dot dir work dot x. And then let's just duplicate that, and then just replace it for y, for z, this for ya and za. Initial speed should be 0, and that hopefully this doesn't goof up stuff. But let's see. So Bird says, when you hit V1, do you think you'll do a reflection video on the project? What went well, what didn't go so well, what you do differently in the future projects? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I should start a journal and just write all this down. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it's nice that I forget. I don't know. Like, I definitely need to reflect on my experience, because yeah, a lot of things went right and a lot of things didn't go so right. And I think it would be good to like initial speed 1. If this dot initial speed dot this dot initial speed dot length dot what dot size. How do we get the magnitude of a this dot initial, or yeah, it's a float. Come on, Joshua. Not equal to 0. Do this. This dot floating equals false. This dot stuck equals false. So that should allow the arrow to zip off. Hey, Wheeze202. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, Dr. Kegel. Length, or I think length in libgdx is the correct thing, but I was trying to do it on a float because I had a temporary insanity. Arrow. So if I have it like this, it should just float because it's set to floating, all that good jazz. But if I want to do something with it, if I set the initial speed to 1, it should now zip away. It doesn't zip away. Why does it not zip away? Let's put a breakpoint in there and see what's happening. Play. Initial speed is 0. This initial speed is 0. Interesting. Oh, I thought the editor would do something about that. Delver is good. Just trying to finish this thing up. The project has been going, you know, for several years now. And we're just trying to get it done. Let me see. Sorry, I don't know who you are, Wheeze202. It looks like you you do game dev as well. It's always cool to have other developers here in chat. Yeah, thank you. That's very kind. Yeah, I am the art guy for the project. I am the 2D, 3D artist. By trade, I'm an engineer, so occasionally I do programming as well. So when I'm really passionate about a particular thing, I will write some code. So right now, the things I've been passionate about in the past have been the bow and arrow refactor. I've added the surprise system. I'm working on the bomb system. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I shouldn't be setting the initial speed in the constructor. I think it's just set as a property up here. Maybe again, let me also yeah, I think I'm checking it. Maybe I need to have a public or an at override. Do the public void init, and it takes a level and a level dot source, and maybe move that code into here. I think, yeah, because I think Dr. Kegel's right in the fact that, again, I was just saying that I think our serialization it knits, or it calls it and then sets the properties. So this should be the correct way to do it. And then I can't monkey patch it because I changed the signature of the class. So let's just relaunch. Cool, Wheeze202. Yeah. Give me the high level pitch for your roguelike dungeon crawler thing. I'm always interested in people making similar things, because obviously I love those things, because you don't work on a project for multiple years unless you're crazy about it. There we go. So initial speed, is that set? No. What? Oh, okay. because this is a new instance. That's forgivable. What I need to do is go here and set this to 1, and hit play. Initial speed is 1, so then all this jazz should be fine. And then we go. And then it speeds into the wall. Perfect. I think what I also need to be careful of is after this dir work, I think we use it just to calculate directions in general. Like it's just a so we don't constantly new up a vector. We just have one that just kind of is an extra vector for this. But maybe just when I'm done with it, this dot dir work dot set 0, 0, 0, just so I kind of tidy up and leave it in okay state, I guess. So Weechoshu says they're working on a game called Galder. It's a dungeon crawler with spell crafting mechanic that made in UE4. Wow, Unreal Engine 4. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Similar roguelike, but deviates from a little. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Like Delver is by no means a hardcore roguelike. We are roguelike adjacent. Can I monkey patch that? Yeah, I can. Which is all good. Like I like my roguelikes, but I also like things in that space. I know people worry about the term roguelike being overused. And in some cases, like it does get used for things that are nowhere near roguelikes. But I think if you have, like for me, roguelike is all about like procedural content and real consequences and like interesting decisions you have to make. I think those are some of the big ones for me as far as like roguelike content. And if this is actually working, I should be able to rotate this sucker and then it should speed off in that direction. Or it speeds off into the ceiling? Looks like one of my axes is incorrect. Weird. Okay, let's try this again. Entity surprises arrow. And then if I hit play, it's fine. No. I need to pull it up. I need to give it initial velocity of say 0.25. Hit play. There we go. We can see it just gracefully zip across the thing. So now when I rotate, let's say it's not even honoring the what's it doing? It's doing crazy stuff. I think I have something gimbally going on. So I think my Y and Z need to be flipped. I think we have this issue with like we have two different coordinate systems. Yeah, there we go. There's an object and a global coordinate system, I believe. Entity surprises arrow. Can I rotate around that? Can I rotate this around the Z comfortably? Yes, I can. That seems to be right. Okay, and then when I hit play, okay, let's give this a velocity. When I hit play, it should speed off. Nice. Oh, and it bounced. Beautiful. And then also, if I stand in the way, it should get me. No, I have to flip on that flag. That's okay. Cool. So if I 2JSON this, what does that look like? It has a Maybe arrows by default should be stuck, so I don't have to worry about that property. And floating to be true, maybe. Also, let me make sure I haven't goofed this up for the bow. So okay, ranged 1 short bow, and then yeah, no, that seems to work okay. Cool. There we go. Do JSON. It would be nice for me to be able to do something like, because what I'm trying to work towards for my bomb is to simply make a bunch of these. So let me see if I can. So place entity, surprises, arrow, and I'm going to pull this up on the Z a little bit, and let's give it initial speed of 0.25. And then what I should be able to do is to pull it along this, and then duplicate it, and then just rotate it. Okay, so the snap rotation is all kinds of goofed. Okay. Get Y. And then rotate 180. And then I can duplicate these and then rotate them on the Z. No. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so duplicate, rotate. I need to fix the snap rotation. Rotate. Let me turn on my boxes to make sure they don't collide with each other. Toggle collision boxes. That looks fine. Toggle them off. And then yeah, when I hit play, they should all speed out. And this is kind of the effect I'm going for. I think even too, I should be able to now group together, and this still should work. And then I should be able to, let's try duplicating the group and then rotating it on the Z. Ah! Oh my lord. So that, okay, so my input, so I haven't, so I need to implement a few more methods for the rotational stuff to be 100%, but let's pull that there. Yeah, these guys, the rotate the group didn't work on this like as expected. Woo! Yeah, that's interesting behavior. Yeah. Okay, so still more work. Ungroup. And then let's grab these, pull them up, and then again it should be something like uh-oh. Okay, I'm getting gimblage going on here. How did that get introduced? Okay, so grab you and I pull you over here, and then I rotate on the Z. Right? Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, there's something going on. So I need to definitely debug my the rotate stuff, but eventually I want to work towards this effect, which I think would be cool, especially when it comes out of a bomb. Yeah, gimblage is, yeah, that's not a real thing. But yeah, it's like gimbal lock. Yeah, I should be able to just set the, I could just probably manually set the rotation and be okay. And T direction. I don't want to have to manually set the T direction. Let's I think I can ignore it, because I think we should set that stuff as a consequence. I So we 202 says Delver looks pretty serious. Are people working on this project full time or is it a hobby project? So it's been a passion project for 5 years. Chad's been on it 6. We've been working on it in our free time, as we have had free time. There have been times where basically leading up to and a little bit after the birth of my first son, I basically took that year off because I was working full time at Microsoft as a software engineer, and it was just really stressful there, and I was supporting my wife through our pregnancy because we didn't think we'd ever be able to get pregnant, and we did, which was amazing. But there's just a lot going on in our lives, and Delver had to go on the back burner until that stuff sorted out. But now I do this full time. I've been doing it full time for a few months now, just trying to get it finished up. Cool. So this should be sufficient for defining an arrow. So let's do something like this. And if I put it in our arrow bomb, so arrow bomb here just for this list of spawns was really huge and kind of gross. But what I want to do is make it easy. So I'll do it. There we go. And then all I have to do now is say initial speed is equal to, say, 0.25. And then our, how about our rotation? Our rotation is a triple, it's a vector, and then it's only on the z axis. And let's say 0. So this should create one arrow that shoots off at the z. Rotation about the z-axis is 0. And that was me doing my cross product or twist, however you want to think of it, motion. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I just told the stream earlier that we are expecting kid number 2, so we are super blessed, and we're very, very fortunate to have another boy on the way. We were happy either way. It would have been nice to have a daughter, but I can also live with 2 boys. Entity lights. Entity lights, ambient. 8. Okay. Let's drop in a arrow bomb. Surprises. Arrow bomb. Play. Grab. Throw. Okay. So that was a pretty wimpy velocity, I think. Let's crank up the velocity and see if it shoots. So initial speed, how about 0.75? Yep. Initial speed is 2.5 is too far. I don't think so. Let's take a look. So if we go here, surprises, arrow, and then we let's drag this up and then across. And then let's add in a entity light, ambient, make it bright, or make the range wide. Then over here, make the initial speed of 0.25. I don't think that's too fast. I mean, it seems to be okay. And this makes it the range of this thing about 3 squares. Yeah, I really should make a template level. I just worry that I can create the level as fast as it would take me to navigate to the template level, because we do have quite a few. A file open. If you look at our levels, we have tons of test levels, like for splash screens and prism themes, and for spikes. And there's even more in the level/test. There's the beer hall, there's fog test, new dungeon theme test, temple hall. There's all kinds of test stuff. I really ought to, but I don't. Surprises, arrow bomb. Grab it. Go. Of course you'd be a dud. Of course you'd be a dud bomb when I need you most. Woo! That seemed pretty darn fast. So I want it to be slow enough you can see that, because I have them emit little puffs, so you can actually see the kind of the trajectory of the arrow, even if it's after the fact. And I rationalize this by thinking that maybe the arrow is like not like a it's just picking up some of the heat or the smoke off the bomb itself. Let's grab this. Let's do that. Yeah, maybe I need to position it a little bit further away. Let's try that too. Also, to make Bird happy, let's also do this. Let's do this. And then let's add in an entity surprises bomb. Entity surprises. Actually, let me add them as prefabs, so I don't have to. So I can pick up the changes I make to them, because otherwise they get serialized out, and then we can't tweak them as easy. So surprises bomb, entity surprises firebomb, entity surprises arrow bomb. Hit play, and let me just throw in some lights real quick. Play. That's reasonably well lit. Let's also right-click entity breakables, crate. This is probably going to look very similar. If you've seen the shooting range I made for the gun stuff, that's probably going to look similar to that, because it's nice to have stuff out here to do that stuff. So file, save as, levels, test. This will be bomb range. Cool. And then I forgot, oh yeah, because I wanted to play around with offsetting the arrow, because right, I think the arrow starts right in the center, and I want it to actually start off center. So I want to push it along the positive x some distance. So say x is equal to 0.125. Let's see how that behaves. Go. File, open levels, test, bomb range. Yeah, so Weez22 says bombs can be duds. That's a funny mechanic. So I want bombs to feel volatile. So when you break open a crate, it will drop a bomb. There is a small chance that the bomb will actually be unlit. Otherwise, it will be lit, and you can grab it. A lit bomb has also a small chance of being a dud. So what being a dud means is it doesn't explode, and you could attempt to relight it and throw it again, but it has an extremely short fuse. Also, dud bombs can still be exploded by taking enough damage or being hit with lightning. So I'm trying to add nuance to all of these things, if that makes sense. I want them to have like an interesting set of behaviors around them. Maybe I need to pull. I think I also need to pull it up on the z-axis a little bit too. So maybe. Uh-oh, I hear somebody. Let me also pull it up on the z-axis, 0.125. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! All right, folks. I guess the stream's over. I just want to say thank you to everybody who stopped by the stream. It's super moralizing. Apologies to Victor. I didn't have time to play your game. I'll play it off stream and I'll get back to you. I want to thank my dear subscribers. I'm a Twitch affiliate somehow, which means you can subscribe to me. And so what do you do if you get to subscribe? Well, one, you get access to the subscriber bot, which is here in chat. It should be doing stuff. You can type in commands. It should be going. Maybe it's not, maybe it crashed. Also, subscribers get Subscriber Day, which is this Friday. I thought PAX was this Friday, but it's not. PAX is the weekend after. So this Friday, I will be doing a subscriber stream where subscribers get to tell me what to work on, and I'll work on it for about 4 hours. I'm gonna try to send out the email tomorrow to my subscribers. Also, I do a weekday stream every Monday through Friday. I work on a Twitch chat playable roguelike, and that's a cool thing I also do. But let me thank my subscribers by their name, and I'll call it good. So thank you to Codrake, Nympheus, Nixrod, That Bluestone, Glass Casket TV, Dr. Kegel, New Obj, Smith, and a Literal Train for supporting me and the weird stuff I do and me sharing development. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, but if you want to see more Delver stuff, I'll be back in a week. So have a good rest of your day.